Hey, 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 Canna It's Michelle Crawford with a special guest today. Her name is Jennifer Potato. Her game is Canna Coaching and being rad. I'd like her to introduce herself. Going over to you, Jennifer. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Michelle. Thank you for having me on here today. I'm so excited about it. Yep, Jennifer Potato here. Canna Coach JB is what I go by. Yeah.
I love it. And where are you coming at us from, Jennifer?
Yeah, I'm in upstate New York, actually, where the lower Catskill Mountains meet the beautiful upper Delaware River. It's a very scenic part of the state. Yeah, and I am a cannabis health coach, and we met through the Cannabis Coaching Institute, right? Yeah,
isn't that where just all the good things happen in Cannabis Coaching Institute?
That darn Cannabis Coaching Institute brought us all together. Thank goodness.
It's so wonderful. We're all educated. We're all so inspired. I know. I love it. I love everybody I've met from Cannabis Coaching Institute. And, this is what I've been trying to get across to people. I don't know if you saw my video from the Philippines, but I'm like, hey, we're a secret part army that's not so secret. And you probably want to join us if you're one of us. And, so
absolutely.
Do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right?
Speaking of that, so why we're here is because I'm promoting homemade health. It's available all the time. The links are down below. If you're interested in cannabis DIY, which is what we're going to be talking about for the next, I don't know how long, because we could go for a while.
We can, but
if you want to just cut this short and be like, I want this course, the links in the description down below.
Totally.
Right. So yeah. Jennifer's my student in homemade health, not once, not twice. And also she has a special story of being really instrumental in helping me, pushing me, demanding that I create my next new most popular product. So let's talk about Jennifer's story in homemade health. Jen, why did you join it? Why did you join my class?
Wow. Yeah. So when I was training in the Cannabis Coaching Institute, I was definitely taking the course for my education for creating this business, of course, but for myself as well, and really getting a handle on my own health. And, I had been a lifelong THC user and lover. I was still struggling though, and needed to do something different. So the Cannabis Coaching Institute introduced this idea of like, okay, there's other cannabinoids and there's this endocannabinoid system. And so the whole thing became much clearer to me. But I was sort of left though with like, okay, how do I do this? If I'm going to be teaching people this, how do I do this? I have to get this under wraps for myself. And then all of a sudden, Michelle Crawford came along with your homemade health. And that was so instrumental in my progress, in my own personal health and in my business and my coaching practice for sure.
You shared some super good stories about your personal health, which I've loved. And yeah, there's one thing to learn about the different cannabinoids. It's another thing to create a system of medicines and recipes that work all the time, every day for you and everybody you love.
Exactly.
It's just a different thing.
A totally different thing. It's like, okay, you pick up a CBD bottle and it's like, okay, now what, and you totally took it into that a whole nother level of understanding and creation and how to work with this. I mean, I had at that point in my life just started growing minimally. And, even to that, even you bringing that forward of growing your own and making your medicine and, it all being homemade in your own home for yourself and your family and others. I mean, it was a tremendous leap for me. And, I had struggled with health issues. I was still dealing with health issues. I mean, I came in right during, the pandemic. So, my anxiety was out of control. I was having migraines. I have an MS diagnosis. I've been, dealing and managing neurological issues my whole life. My migraines were out of control. Nausea was out of control. Yeah, it was intense. And 30 days was impressive after 30 days of being with you and on the formulations that you taught us. 90 was incredible. I mean, 90 was absolutely incredible. And I mean, I could talk for days about this, but
try to make it enticing. After 30 days, it was amazing. After 60 days, it was, even more amazing. And after 90 days, it was incredible. I don't know. Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it really was.
Are you kind of like, what can multi-cannabinoid homemade tinctures do for me and stuff,
Exactly. And people, you won't know until you try. And it really, that's what this is all about, is really finding what works for you, giving it time, really tracking and understanding what is changing in the body and how things are going. And really watching the progress to me was just mind blowing. And the end, for me, all the things, migraines, nausea, were actually nausea was gone. That was like amazing. I was like, oh my God.
Boy, if for those of you who don't live with nausea, I live with nausea too, Jen. That's another reason why cannabis, like around the clock, became such a big thing for me to figure out, because of nausea, before meals, like all the time. It's just horrifying.
Yeah.
So
and I
knocked that out, huh?
Yeah. And I hadn't even experienced that in life until this couple years up into running to that point. And I was like, this cannot happen. Absolutely not. And I could not do anything. Completely gone. My migraines are down to like 0 to 2 a month, which is incredible from where they were, especially at that time. My anxiety is so much more under control. But the one thing that I didn't really see coming, and I should have, but I didn't, was my mood stabilizing. Like, holy mackerel.
I wish that people had been with us when you told me this aha before, like your mood, especially during a menstrual cycle, remember?
Oh yeah.
You said you are just a normal person now through the whole thing instead of like a psychomaniac.
Yeah, exactly. I was having like psychotic episodes, it felt like, throughout, the month. And, I've always dealt with mental health issues and different things, of course that's a part of it as well. But I wasn't taking it with that intention, and I should have been, but I wasn't at the time. And now I really encourage people to really take note of that, because, my highs and lows were just so extreme. And it really gave me a baseline that is very different from anything that I've experienced any part of my life. And using THC, anything that I've ever tried, it was a big stepping stone for me to reach that. So that was, and I encourage everyone to really look at that, because you don't really think about your mood and the effect that has on the body, and those highs
and your relationships and your day. Come on.
Exactly. All the things.
Yeah. And you're not the only one. I've had a few of these videos, I'm trying to promote homemade health right now. And it's a theme to hear that the basic homeostasis of your system, that you just acclimated to a more balanced state. And like Kirsty, another person, Kirsty said that she got a lot of work done from this place for the first time after trying to therapy type work, and spiritual type work. And also when you're coming from a stabilized mood and stuff, you can get a lot more done than when you're doing this while trying to do something else,
Exactly. Yeah, it is incredible. Mm-hmm.
Well, we just talked about some of the results, but what were the expectations that you had? Okay, you heard of homemade health, you heard of me. I don't know if that's how it happened, but
no, I did. You were my grad mentor. Yeah,
no,
it was great. You were such an impact on my education. And when you came forward with that, I was like, this is an amazing opportunity. What did I expect? Nothing of what I got, really. Honestly, it was, excuse me, let me just take a sip of water.
Have some water. Let's have a cheers. Cheers.
Yeah. You're going to edit this?
We'll add some
Probably
music,
not.
okay? Yeah.
Probably not, right? That's okay. Yeah.
What did you expect coming in? Yeah.
I really came in just thinking, I'm going to get a handle on CBD. Okay. And that's what I really, because I was a THC lover, snobber,
we love THC, don't get me wrong.
And so I poo-pooed it for most of the time, that it's been on its rise, right? I'm like, yeah, CBD, but coming into CCI really did change that for me. And then, knowing what I understood now about the science behind it and the endocannabinoid system, I was like, okay, all right. Total misconception, more stigma related issues, right? You have this
within ourselves
thing, it's like an ego, it's just strange, but so I thought I was just going to come in and really just start understanding how I can start consuming at least CBD, and I had heard about CBG and of course the acidics, but I wasn't really thinking what is this going to really wind up being for me? In the end, it's so much more than that. I'm completely controlling and making all of the medicine that myself and my wife and my family are consuming. It's I never expected to go that far with it, even down
That's
to
so cool. You know,
extraction.
you are the
Yeah.
coolest person. I mean, everybody,
Thank you.
all my students
You're
are
the
so cool,
coolest.
but I honestly think you are so cool. And I mean, it's the dream of a lot of things. Like if you love salsa and you grow your own salsa garden and you make your own goddamn salsa, how proud of you are you? And this is miracle medicine salsa. Like this is not even like
Exactly. This is like top, yeah.
change your life medicine. You know what I mean?
Healing, yeah, exactly. And a healing modality right in my hands. You know, I think that's amazing to me, really, is like knowing that what I'm making is healing. It's incredible. Yeah.
It's a power, it's a responsibility.
Yeah.
It's empowering, like I said, and also just like I keep saying that this is a movement. After getting back from the Philippines, I'm just feeling so global about everything right now. You know, I'm like, this is taking over the world. We are becoming healers. This is shining lights. You know what I mean? I just keep saying this stuff because I believe it, right? I just feel it.
And we are. It may feel like an uphill mountain battle, but you know, it's still, it's happening, and we are helping people, and more people are coming to it. And the tide is changing. And as the tide changes, it's just going to continue to allow space for this.
So. We're on the wave. We're top of it. We're on the top of the wave, baby. Yes. You know, you're in Cali. I'm going to do my surfing. I'm going to do a surfing thing.
Surfing thing.
All right. So who should join us? Why? And then who shouldn't?
Yeah. I mean, who should, so if you're someone who is accustomed already to some sort of cannabis use and are looking at it as a healing modality, as a wellness tool, you know, this is for you. I mean, if you really want to hone that in for yourself, I mean, I think there is that DIY component, and we have to talk about that. DIY is wonderful, but it is time, it is energy. But it gives back to you in so many ways. So if you're really at that moment where you're looking at this as medicine and are open to the idea of doing some of this yourself, learning curve is the hard part. You know, once you're over the learning curve, it's so freaking easy. It's ridiculous.
I mean, what you said, the actual making is not the hardest thing in the world. It's just a lot of this up here. You know what I mean?
It's the thinking about it. Yeah. Like the formulating and the thinking. And then when you get into the math and all the silly stuff, but the actual like making, it's like flour, oil, you know, like ethanol, you're going to do extraction. Like, it's like, you know, put it on, press the button, like press the button, take it out, put it in a jar, you know, it's pretty simple. Yeah, pretty simple, but getting there can be, you know, let's be real. It's, you know, it can mentally anything, you know,
you can psych yourself out easily, especially about cannabis. This is where we're trying to fight the fight. Exactly. You know, we're trying to like not be so stigmatized, not get so hung up on it, try to just act normal about it, you know?
Exactly. Yes. Not a big deal. And you teach that, like, not only do you teach how, but you also teach like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, let's not overthink this. This is easy. Like, I'm going to show you, and it's going to be easy, and you're going to be okay. And that encouragement.
Thank you. I do try for that exact vibe, if you would.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a mood, and I'm going for it.
Yeah, and you do it well.
I know you have kids the same age as me, adult children.
Yes,
and I don't know if you've heard that it's a mood, you know?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think anybody shouldn't join? I mean,
if you're not into DIYing and it makes you cringe, like, you know, don't, you know, like, this isn't for you. You know, if you don't want to be a part of a community of other people and like you're not into that thing, I would also think about that. You're going to get a community out of this. Like, that to me is what I also feel like you created, is a community of these like-minded people that are, you know, making their medicine. And
I know, right? And just like, and depending on each other, you guys in the threads in Homemade Health, I know it's not like the most active place in the world, but when we're on, we're on. And when you need help, it's there. You know what I mean?
Every time I've ever needed anything, any question, and it's, you know, it's gotten better, right? Because I've come this far. So now I feel like I have my systems and everything. But anytime I ever have anything, I just go in there, you know, you're either coming or, you know, half the other people are coming in, just, you know, just commenting and giving their perspective or what works for them. And, you know, we learn from each other. I mean, we totally learn from each other. We uncover why our mistakes happen together, you know, like it's, And that is really important. I think, online community, that's the best part of online communities, is that, support that you can get from each other. And this is a very supportive, thriving community, I would say, for
I
sure.
agree. Let me ask this. This is not planned question. So off the cuff, what's your
Okay.
favorite thing to make that you learned?
Good question. Good question. I'm personally, I extract craft now with my source.
Sorceress.
So I just like extracting, to be honest. It's very fun. And even though there is this sticky substance that you're dealing with,
Yeah.
once you come up with your system behind it though. So I'm really, really focused on that. I mean, I love Trifecta. Trifecta is my formula of choice. I live throughout every day with it. I need that THC. Exacta's great. There's a purpose for it, but for me, Trifecta is amazing. And sleepy time was always a special thing to me as well. Look at that. Trifecta.
Right there on my desk.
There you go.
Label game.
Sleepy time was fun to make because of including the other herbs, but
And the taste is nice.
yeah, and the taste is nice. So I don't know, it's hard to choose, but those are all my favorite things to do right now.
Extractions, Trifecta, which you use daily, which is our multi-cannabinoid blend with the 7 sisters, as they call it, and then sleepy time a little bit. Yeah, totally. I understand that. Suppositories, where are you at with those?
Oh,
baby?
suppositories. I mean, they're just a regular. Yeah, they're just a regular. Yeah, I love making suppositories, even though I put them in the little, I actually have the molds that look like suppositories, and then you got to squeeze them out like, little cow udders.
Dr. Pimple Popper. Yeah.
I do love that. I do love that. And I've gotten that down to a great system. And, and I think that's what it's all about, is just, learning how to do these things and then getting yourself in comfortable systems that work for you. And
yes,
have your
that
medicine
work for you through day in and day out. I mean, I'm not coming at this like a gourmet cook who has all the time in the world in every pot and pan. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like some recipes are like that, where they think you're just going to spend 13 hours.
Right.
And I'm just like
3 hours later,
sorry.
you're putting it in the oven. Exactly.
Do you think what I teach you is simple? You already said it is.
Oh, absolutely. Again, I think it's the mental, overcoming the mental challenge of it. And then, but as a physical task, I think everything is very simple. It's very simple. And you can do it. Like, I have I keep pointing over there. That's my, station that I have of my Ardent and the Source Turbo. And, like I said, most of these things are set it and press the button and give it a few hours and come back to it. Yeah, it's pretty, and again, once you get in that system, I can turn it on in the morning and then not pay attention to it again till night. And,
that is invaluable, and it's built into the system, because believe me, you're being taught by somebody who values that exact same quality. I was going to ask, the next question is about the economics of DIYing, and you bought everything and you were in the course and you asked for more. We'll get to that. But
I did.
I know, right?
Around the room.
I'm not trying to teach you guys anything that's super complicated or hard. I walk away from these projects all the time. I just believe in my heart, and I think that you'll get it too, because we're so much the same. Cannabis, you can rely on it. It's you trustworthy to the 100%. The Ardent, completely trustworthy and reliable. The Source Turbo, completely trustworthy and reliable. All these things are there for you. They've got your back. You can hardly mess up.
Yes.
It's so safe and easy. Honestly, all 3 things, if you ask me.
Exactly. Yeah. And then going right into the investment and into the, into that portion of it. Yes, you're going to feel an investment in these machines, and even in your class and all of the things. The savings on the other end is unbelievable, in my opinion. It's really, I've done the numbers and it is incredible. I had no choice but to go down this route. Once I really started incorporating the other cannabinoids, now I had 3 cannabinoids to deal with and sourcing, and it can be a lot. And if you're buying from a dispensary, oh my goodness, what the, it's incredible. So the savings is very quickly. The Source Turbo to me was a month of cannabinoids. So to me, it's that was totally recouped so quickly.
Right. Yes.
I really would love to have the exact numbers. If I had 2 more, people like myself, I would put one on. really like really getting it down to the penny, because it is incredible the feeling when you can spend $1,000 at a dispensary for
You have
2
to take it out in
ounces,
cash. You're taking out the cash.
Yeah,
I
taking
don't
out
know
the
about
cash.
you guys, but yeah, we have to take cash.
Yeah, it's like, or the debit card, you have to get the charges on. I mean,
I hardly ever go to an actual dispensary and spend less than $400.
right, and you're probably getting what, like an ounce. Like I feel like $400 to $500 is like equivalent to at least out here it's still, please, we won't even go into that. But it's yeah, I mean, it is incredible how much money you can spend in a dispensary, so
Yes.
growing and making to me is like all about, saving money. I mean, like substantial amount of money.
Substantial. And also the resources that we share in the class that I share and then other people share on where to get CBD and CBG cannabis for less. That's quality. Like we have great resources in our group that will totally point you to where we all get our stuff. Absolutely. And we trust it and it's inexpensive,
Absolutely, especially with those cannabinoids. Oh my goodness, that bulk CBD that I had posted one time, and quarter pounds for like $40, $50, $60. I mean,
that's so amazing. And then you can take that and process it into whatever you want.
Into so much. I mean, the volume that you pull from that is incredible. And
then you can concentrate all your growing efforts on THC, which really pays you back.
Right. Exactly. And that's where you absorb it. But yeah, it's great.
So economics, pretty good. I mean, hefty to invest, but when do you not invest in the capital? It's a little hefty, but you got to get it back.
Exactly. I mean, that's what life is all about, is in investing in the things that are helping you in whatever facet of life. So yeah, I mean, to me, it's, it comes up front, but find a way and, really.
I know this wasn't easy for you to afford all of it, what I
No,
mean? Like,
and it was at a really, a hard time, an awkward time with recovery from the pandemic and everything for me. But it was like, I had to think, okay, keep staying as I am and spend this much money. So by the end of the year, I'm spending what, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 in a year.
Easy. Especially at the rates that you're taking it and as much as you're taking and making now.
Exactly. Yeah. And increasing it. And then everybody else is now responding. So now the whole house is doing well, it's like, okay, that just keeps bringing that number up and up and up. So, if the Ardent's 3, the Surge Turbo, 6, 7, whatever it is, even your course, I mean, so $2,000, I mean, which will last you for how long?
Lifetime.
For the lifetime of this, right? The lifetime. So your savings is not even just that 1 year, but everything that follows afterwards. Yeah, it's incredible. There would be no way that I would go back unless, I became a totally different person.
If you were like a bazillionaire, never had to worry about this at all, yeah. I would probably hire someone to make it for me in my own.
That too. Yeah, exactly. Because I would still want it to be like, my stuff, right?
I would have like my Canna. Remember the Brady Bunch Alice? Like just have Canna Alice. Like.
I love that.
Right. That would be my dream. Okay, so we talked about the economics. I mean, we all know we're making an investment, but in your better health and that of everyone around you. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What does make, take, share mean to you?
So I do obviously make and take, for sure.
You share a shit ton, Canna Coach JB. What are you talking about?
Well, I wanted to explain. Let me explain, Michelle. Okay. So I love sharing the product, but it is something that I can't share with everybody. And that's the thing, and it becomes a job and it becomes a business, which you can't have, right? So I can't have personally. So I share as much as I can extend to my close family. But the share part for me really is sharing the knowledge and sharing the experience, and to me, that's the make, take, share for me. Not, I'm going to bring this to my neighbor. I'm going to bring this to my uncle. I'm going to bring, it's, this is ours, this is mine in our family. And I'm going to share this with you. And I'm going to help you, create this for yourself, whether that is DIYing it. Because I have helped people with that, and it is. Yes,
you help people DIY. That's like so meta, Jennifer. Oh my
God. Exactly. I wish I could do more of that. So if anybody's out there that needs a coach, I'm here. So I know Michelle's a coach too, but
I would say if we need to get through this, but you know how sometimes the coaches in our group make little groups that are regional. Like if we get a bunch of regional people from New York, Massachusetts, the East Coast, Canna Coach JB, maybe we can talk her into hosting a little group or something.
Exactly.
And then you can share that
Exactly.
way, you know, like
Exactly. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Yeah, for sure.
that. You're not alone. That's been a theme. Everybody's been like, the make, take, share portion. Not only do they like to share the actual, you know, finished products, which we would love to if we had infinite money, share it with everybody, but like the sharing of our process, of our ideas, of the fact that this is working for us, of homemade health, and do you want to take it with me next time? It'll be fun, you know, that kind of thing. That's the sharing that I think that we're focusing on nowadays, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And where it really, matters, to me, it's like, I can give you a product, but you need to come around to it. So how can I help you come around to it and make it something that you embody? Because, every time I've ever given something to anyone, it's like they either take it, it's like when they want it and they have it and they take it with intention and consciousness, I feel like the results are much better. So to me, it's helping that person get to these cannabinoids and provide that knowledge and know how, how to work with it. So. Yeah.
Hello, why are we all cannabis health coaches?
Right.
That's like,
Exactly.
yeah, nobody knows how to do anything. We have to help them.
Exactly. This is all brand new and not, even though it's again magical, but it's still not simple, it still takes an exploration of sorts,
I feel like you have to be adventurous to overcome the initial cannabis stigma a little bit, although that's eroding. I feel like it's eroding. I feel like people are like, it's fine. I like CBD. THC is okay. I'll take a gummy, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to remember you're in California too. Just remember.
I am in California, but hey, I was just in the
Ahead of the
Philippines.
curve.
I just thought it was kind of a class issue. Like, I don't want to bring this up too much if it's too crazy for people, but like the Philippines is an amazing country where we have a lot of overseas workers who experience other cultures regularly. So if you go and you work in Amsterdam or you work in Spain or Europe or you work in America and you're used to like the lifestyle here and the attitudes, and then you go back to the Philippines where it's legal medically for things like Dravet syndrome and epilepsy, but there's very few people who apply for that. And it's, and then generally speaking, recreationally or what have you, it's illegal. However, these attitudes, the Philippines is a very like open country that's like, happy and fun in a lot of ways in terms of our personalities. And if I meet people who've had the opportunity to live in a place that had legal cannabis, they're generally really open to it. And then they go back to the Philippines and they're like, well, it's illegal here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but their education level isn't super high. Like, for example, everybody thinks that smoking the leaves is like it. And I'm like, no, there's more,
Goodness.
I know, right? There's so much work to do, people. There's so much work to do.
Yeah.
So speaking of the work there is to do and how much work that there is and work, you gave me more work. How did you do this, Miracle Makers Club, Jennifer? How did you do this?
Well,
but I love it.
At the end of the last run of the course, yes, we were all so really, the energy among us was tremendous. And it was like, we were just waiting and Michelle was not saying anything of what we were doing next. We were like, okay, we're meeting next week, right, Michelle? Like, when are you going to do, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do this? And yes, I did apply some pressure. To put it
I wish I could cut in right now. I had the technological like editing skills to cut in like the meeting where you're like, Michelle.
Hey.
Hey, a New Yorker came out right
away.
I could hear that New York.
Oh, it was great. It was great. Yeah. I love the week when remember when I told everybody that we were meeting the following week? You
Yes.
just hadn't announced it yet, but we were meeting. Yeah. No,
so you guys now see how my people and the success that we have and the mood and the vibe and the, everything about it, it just keeps rolling forward and we just want to be with each other more. And if you want to be with this is where it's at. So Homemade Health is a 10-week course. I teach you how to make tinctures, topicals, and concentrates, but it's not just a 10-week course. That's just the live portion that I give 3 times a year. Actually, it's an evergreen course, which is available all year round. And the online portion of it is like 24/7. You just jump in there, the recipes, the videos, all the bonuses I made for you, specifically Jennifer Potato.
That's right. And the cart, right? And the cart. Yeah, there's
how to make a vape cart is a very specific one.
You can say thank you, Jennifer Potato.
Yeah, I know you all want to know anyway. Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. So you'll have access to all of that the minute you buy and pay, and you can join for as little as $135 on a monthly payment, and you get access to everything for a year. You can be like on the online for a whole, you get that forever, but then like the whole year or 3 times, even if you join like later, 3 live classes is your due. You get 365. You get like 3 live classes with me. We don't do class during like the summer and then during like Christmas because nobody has time for that. So it's only 3. But what's perfect about that is that, like Jennifer said, she had results over time. The first 30 days of taking the tinctures, the first 60 days, the first 90 days. And then the Source Turbo, if that's a stretch for you, it might be something that you get later in your process, which is very understandable. Like I get it when people need to repeat and repeat. And I also know from my work at Cannabis Coaching Institute, where I'm a grad mentor, that people need time. Things come up in life. And this is the kind of work where you have to do it again and again, right, Jen?
Exactly.
So you might as well just be in a group that's doing it all the time. And then you can join in when you want and when you can, and feel the camaraderie, make new friends, and get that help you need to kind of keep going with your process. Miracle Makers Club is a little bit different than Homemade Health. It's a monthly study club kind of situation, or a discussion group of cannabis aficionados and lovers and advocates like us, basically all my DIY crew, who want to get together and just, like talk about cannabis, have fun, make friends. A special perk, if you join Miracle Makers Club and you already took Homemade Health, you can stay in the next year for at that price, which is super low. Miracle Makers Club is only $300, $25 a month. And if you buy on Black Friday, it's $100 off. So everybody kind of plans for that. I would say, if I was recommending to somebody right now, how do you feel about the whole year-long program, Jen? It's new, right, to you. So even though you joined like last year twice, but making it officially like you have access for a year. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that was a clutch, actually, because it really gives the person that access they need to do it in the time that they need it, and it is a building of confidence. It is a, oh, okay, I've accomplished this task. Now I've done it a few times. I'm feeling good about it. I've made it my own. So yeah, I think opening up for the year is great and provides such access. So yeah, I think it's
like
key.
a savvy move, right?
Yeah, totally. There's nothing that, people are going to get so much out of this. They have no idea. And that's the only thing I can relay to you is that, if you are really considering, you're going to get so much out of this, and you won't even know the extent of it until that year really passes and you really see the progress and you see yourself and what you've come to be able to achieve for yourself and your family.
I mean, don't even make people cry. Like when you give it to somebody else in your family and it helps them, and then you're just like, it's all the feels, right?
It really is.
Okay, so you made me make Miracle Makers Club. I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to you for being my student and for, I love the way that I'm enjoying this business, making my customers and students successful in their DIY endeavors, and then also just like making places for us to have fun together and be part of this pot army movement that that we're all part of, making the stigma go away, making it normal, and making everyone healthier with cannabis and plant medicine. Hey, so look at this camera, that camera, this camera. I'm just kidding. And what do you have to say to the audience about what you have going on?
What do I have going on? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, you have to shout yourself out at the end now because I'm doing hot ones.
Yeah. So I am working one-to-one with people, coaching. I'm developing a new program that's a little bit more in depth around the lifestyle changes that I actually have made over the last decade plus that support, a cannabis endocannabinoid system enhancement lifestyle. So I do work one-to-one with folks right now, but I'm hoping to create something in group form in the future. And I have taken on a little portion of my schedule, and this is something I just did, and I'm going to share it with the world, but and I've made it a pay what you can half hour with me. And I only do it for, a couple of slots a week, but access is so important to this, and people need help. And so I've been offering this pay what you can half hour slot a couple of a week to really, it was hard to not be able to extend my services to everyone. So I'm really trying to find a way to allow access to me with questions. So those are the people
find you. Where is this sign up on your
can they find me?
website? So
CannaCoachJB.com is my website. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn at CannaCoachJB. I'd love to chat with any of you. And I'd love to even just give you my perspective on homemade health, because I really think it's helpful to talk to people that have gone through the program, and so reach out. Michelle has my information. It will be down below.
I'll put it down there. You can see us doing this. We're so good at our jobs.
I know.
Promoting. Yeah.
Kirsty's, when she was here, she'd be like, subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe, check out the links, all this stuff. Okay. Jennifer, thank you so much for being on here and being my student. And your story is so inspirational to me and motivational, as are most of the stories of all of our students. But I really appreciate you taking the time to come onto this, channel show and tell people about your experience with homemade health. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for all that you do. And you're helping many, and you're just going to continue to do that. So thank you for all that you do, Michelle. Really.
More power to us, Pot Army. All right. I'm going to end it. Thanks so much, Jen. Bye.
Bye.